Hi guys, welcome to another edition of the Rangman show. Uh, Welcome Pranay, welcome Sharvil.
Thank
I
you.
take immense pleasure in bringing somebody on the show whom I've known for a really long time. He's my school friend, and in today's day and age where everybody is becoming more environmentally cautious, and more responsible towards how they behave and what the impact of that behavior is on the environment. I think Sharvil has a really good message for all of us, and his story is really interesting. And I don't really want to take a lot of time in introducing him and what he's doing and all of that, because he'd be the better storyteller in that. And Shavil, please start with where did your journey start?
Thank you, Keyur. Hi, Pranay. Hi, Keyur.
Hi, Sharvil.
Thanks a lot for having me over. So, as you said, that I would just get into it now about that. As you remember, Keyur, I don't know if you remember this one incident that I had got a frog in school in a small jar. Okay, and everyone went crazy
That is
that
not just
there's a
one
frog.
incident, if I'm not wrong.
That's true. That's true. So, interested. I was always interested in animals, about helping animals, about knowing them better. So, luckily, I met really amazing. I call them my wildlife gurus, and they completely direction my interest into a process that which would actually boost me to help nature and wildlife. So, it so happened that I started rescuing owls. Now, I would like to say that I'm not a vet or I'm not an expert, but with experience, I got to know that how to handle these owls, or what are the things which are necessary when you are just taking care of a bird or any animal just for a short duration, and it's responsibility of that person rescuer that the owl or the bird or any animal goes to his that locality again. So I started receiving calls from people. It so usually happens that owls are it's not that they're blind, it's just that they cannot adjust their vision to so much of light which is out there. They usually depend upon the sound waves which are there. So now there's just one fine day I got a call from a friend telling me that there's an owl which is bleeding from its beak. So I take this owl to an expert. She's Dr. Veena Dev, and Dr. Veena Dev is an expert with all the exotic birds and animals. So she told me that, listen, this bird may not live. Okay, so we'll euthanize this bird. And I was very young back then, and I was heartbroken that
Still you're
I've got
young
this
man,
owl
don't worry.
to true, true.
Pranay, you're
But
as good as time, so let's.
Yeah, that's
like yeah, but I was like a teenager, and back then she told me that the owl will not live, and I was not just ready to accept the fact. And looking at my face, she said, okay, I'll give you one option. I'll give some antibiotics and whatever medicines are necessary. You'll have to take care of the owl. You'll have to force feed the owl. So that force feeding word was the one I was I was listening to it for the first time. I was like, what's that? Like, so the owls, they do not eat in captivity. And as I had never had to keep the owls for longer duration, more than like 6 or 8 hours, I never knew that part. So that's how I learned that. So you have to make a chicken paste, and you have to take that paste and push it to its food pipe. Taking care should not go to its windpipe. So she taught me very well for like a day how to do that. She had me do it in front of her, and it's so it all went well. I got that owl home that time. If you remember, I was staying in this small row house kind of a place, which had a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
backyard to it. So I kept the owl there. I did that thing for 7 days. Now, owl is usually a very aggressive bird, but to my surprise, that after 7 days, that flew and sat on my shoulder, and that was like I still get goosebumps talking about it, and that was like a one
Disney
moment
princess
for me.
feels.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, hey, this is like some miracle that owl is being friendly with me. I went on like a usual teenager, click some selfies and all. I think that's still there on my Instagram, like 4 or 5 years ago picture. And after that, I was really inspired to know more about the bird. So I went on finding about the bird. I found out that the owl, when it flies, it does not make any wing sound. They are very peace and very like peaceful and calm bird. So somewhere I related that that's how I am when I travel. I'm very peaceful. I'm very calm. So that was the concept, or that was the starting of my company's name, which is Travolet. So Travolite was traveling an owlet, basically. So Travolite was initially started with some camping and wildlife tours. I was still in my post-graduation years, so I could not focus on Travolite much. But I was always running these wildlife tours. So it also happened. And when my first wildlife tour, when we took like 20 people to Ranthambore National Park, we were like 19 years old. And the hotel owner was there. He was like, आपके कौन टूर गाइड है उनको बुलाओ. मैं हूँ. He was like, नहीं नहीं बुलाओ बुलाओ किसको. And like, अरे मैं हूँ. So he was not ready to accept that a young kid who's not even got a mustache, who's got people, and I was a little offended, but then I got used to it, and it started like that. It started on a very fun note. I was having fun doing all these things, and I realized that that time I was not much into making it. Let's make it a huge business, and then let's make it money out of it. That was my passion initially, which drove me into it. Later on, I realized that it is not just about my career or making money, but me taking people to wildlife or to nature. That would definitely help people out there to understand nature, and in turn help nature to in turn help nature with such responsible people. So that's how things started on my journey about wildlife.
Yeah,
so basically,
absolutely.
Sharvil,
Like
your calm in life was because you were very calm.
Yeah, you can say that. More like to put it in a right way, that I like to chill. So matlab, I like to do everything in a chill fashion. So that's how it went. Owls are also very chilled out birds. So yes.
So, Sharvil,
yeah,
connecting
well,
pets and nature, how important is that for you?
Sorry, pets and
Connecting pets and nature, how important is that for you?
So it again, it's great you brought up that topic. It so happened that before 2 years I adopted a dog, and since I adopted Kuro, I realized that we do not have a lot of space in Mumbai to walk dogs or so on, and we do not have enough socialization sessions which are going on. So now in that case, once I took Kuro for just a camping experience, that time I realized this guy was absolutely happy and on the lawn, going into trees, enjoying himself in the wood. He even went by the water, and that time he realized that this is absolutely important. That a pet who is an animal, also it's important to introduce such animal to the nature where they actually belong, I believe. And if that's the case, then in why don't I take people along with me and their pets on such camps? I said that when I started taking people for camping, I realized that these people are not really the ones who are taking care of nature. These are the ones, they only want to enjoy themselves. So they were actually polluting the nature. So I completely stopped those kind of camps, and I was always thinking that what else can I do apart from wildlife tours in Mumbai, around Mumbai, which would still help nature. And we have our very own RA forest. I live by the RA forest, and there are things which we still can take care of even in the city. So I realized that the pet parent is anyway by default an animal lover. So that person is somewhere already responsible for taking care of animal or in turn nature. So I started having these camps last year after that first or second unlock, where I had a group of 30 people who were all pet parents. We took them for camping. Luckily, I have a canine behaviorist and a trainers on team, also a vet. So they take care of dog psychology, that how would a dog feel when you take dog completely into a new horizon. Like you show the dog a place that he's never been to. Maybe many dogs have never seen a river. Many dogs have never seen a lake. So that's their, I feel that's their right to enjoy themselves into nature, enjoy themselves onto lawns, completely make themselves dirty into mud. And that's the life how dogs should be living. So that was a big hit. We completely enjoyed that camp. People enjoyed that camp, and especially as I had very structured camp, my behaviorist and trainers knew that how to exactly how the have the activities, how to socialize the dogs. So like even if we are going out for a maybe in a bar or in a hotel, that time we don't just go on any table and sit and we're like, hey, hi, how are you? So we have our group. So that's with the dogs also, that's with the animals also. They are very social. So socialization is a very important thing. Over socialization should not be done. So it's now almost 8 months we are having these camps. We are having these camps every year. We are now extending to Pune as well, having camps for pet parents in Pune. Now people are somewhere realizing, and my idea of building a community of responsible nature lovers and pet parents is somewhere now rising into this picture.
Like I like what you said about it started with something fun for yourself, but now
Correct.
it's transcended into something which is much deeper and larger than just having fun, going out, traveling. uh, what was so you've studied biology for quite some time. So what, so yeah, and you've been teaching biology as well. You're a professor.
Yes.
And how does that play a part? How does the scientific understanding of biology play a part in your thinking, where you started thinking ki, oh, it's just not a one person thing. It's not a one person thing to take care of nature, to take care of their pets. uh, how do you how did you started thinking on those lines, and how do you communicate that to the people? Because most of the times when you try to tell somebody that whatever you're doing, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, is harmful to the nature, and when that is happening in society at large, it's not really a good thing. So how have you been dealing with it? What was the response? What was it like when you started out? I know for a fact that you have been also dabbling into eco tourism to an extent, with Travolite and your
Yes,
tours
yes.
that you take. It's not it's Tell us more about that, and what is the response of the people?
Okay. So, Keyur, it so happened that after my post graduation, I got an offer for a job as a business developer, and it was a pure corporate job. I even took the offer. I even worked for 2 months. And after working for 2 months during my notice period or a probation period, which is there, I realized this is just not my thing. I mean, I just cannot go with it. In fact, the board of directors, when he heard my ideas about wildlife tours, he even made a statement that, oh, you can take us all on the tour, and that's all good. But that was just a trap. I realized that there's the weekend working thing is just a trap. You don't really get the weekends. You just completely doze off on the weekends and you take rest and so on. So I immediately got out of it. I did not even get a salary for a month, but I was really okay with it, because instead of going something which I don't like, I would rather go for something which I really like. And that was really a tough time for me, because I did not have a job in my hand. My business was not really structured one, or the one which I could push. The dog camps were nowhere in the picture that time. Wildlife tours were on and off because I was not paying attention due to my post graduation. So at the same time, I got a job. I got a job offer from this college to become a professor, and the person who was there, who knew me, who had seen me as a student, who had taught me. He knew how I present things and how are my skills with teaching. So maybe he figured out something about me, and he told me that you could do it. I was not really ready for it, but I went for it, and I started liking that thing. So as you said that considering that I teach biotechnology to postgraduate and graduate students, and also school students nowadays. I also take lectures for all the international school students for wildlife and nature conservation. So with all this, I realized that the major one part which has helped me into it is teaching. So as I became a teacher, I realized that how it is to actually connect with another person, to go to that person's level and make the understanding very clear. So that one just hit me that this is what I'm trying to do, right? If I want to create a community, or if I want to create awareness within people, then that is the first skill that I should have. Teaching people about the things. So अगर मैं बता रहा हूँ ना लोगों को चीजें, तो ये तू कौन सा है, तू क्यों बता रहा है? But when that all comes from a teacher's approach, that time that is taken in a very on a very good note. It is never the thing that I'm pushing my opinions on people. I'm making them realize it is more of an experiential learning, that you go, you see it, you experience it, and then you realize, oh yeah, I should be behaving in this way. I should not be maybe just simple thing. I should not be throwing garbage. This is just a very basic thing, but yeah, they realize with coming onto tools and so on. So as we are talking about science and biotechnology, so biotechnology is a field which is very much still connected to nature. We are still working with microorganisms. We are still working on cell biology, where I teach mainly immunology and cell signaling. So in many of the principles of cell signaling depend upon co-living, or depend upon sending signal across and that signal being amplified. So that's somewhere the same logic to what I want to do and how I want to run my company. And as you brought up the topic about ecotourism, also realize that taking up people on tours, that is also polluting nature, and unnecessarily taking people to the place where they should not be going. That how can I avoid that? How can I spread the message across and also take care of nature at that point? So I started this ecotourism. Like I had this idea, rather, Keyur and I had a lot of discussion, right, about this thing, that how shall we pitch it? How shall people actually get it? So just providing a bamboo toothbrush is not going to do the job, right? I still do that, but that is not how that will send the message across. So for this, on my wildlife tours, we see to it that we take people for small village dinners, small village lunch kind of a thing, where people actually have lunch with the locals who are living by the forest their entire life. And when you listen to their stories are very controversial. The reason I say and use this word controversial is because they do not want to see the tiger. People go to the forest and want to see the tiger, but they do not want to see the tiger. And they are the people who know that um, the more and more away from the tiger they are living or they're staying, that is good for both of them. The more you are bringing humans into the wildlife, that is also destroying the wildlife, right? So in lockdown, I have seen videos from those forest officers who are there, or those videos are online, that tigers were very happy. They were happily roaming into the park, and once the vehicles started coming in, they were a little disturbed by it. So I do understand this fact that taking people to wildlife, I know by saying this I'm contradicting my own business idea, but at this point, so I had to find that fine line
Sweet spot.
where
Yeah.
yes, absolutely, where we still visit these places, and not just for the fun of it, but rather for understanding the wildlife and nature in a better way. So what we are doing nowadays is that instead of taking people to all these famous wildlife sanctuaries and national park, I have been traveling for last 5 years in India to certain wildlife sanctuaries which are not so famous, which are in double quotes, where you don't get good sightings, such places. But is that so? Are we traveling only to places just to see the tiger, or are we traveling to the places to understand the wildlife? So that's when even I realized that. So I went to this national park, which is called Nagarhole National Park. Now that is the opposite side of the famous Kabini National Park. So Kabini, people go there in loads because they want to have a sighting of Black Panther or a leopard. But Nagarhole National Park is such a beautiful place that still has leopards. But going to such places which do not have good sightings, there you understand more about nature. There you understand about their ecosystems, how these national parks are still surviving, staying within thousands, crores of humans, and how animals have adapted to these national parks. Now it's a very beautiful thing to understand that a place, a very crowded national parks, how animals adapt to that location. At the same time, how leopard would adapt to a location where it is where there are humans limited. Rather, there you see these animals, there you get a chance to see the animals in their actual raw habitats, in their raw elements, how these animals are doing, because they are not used to humans. They would go for their hunts, they would go for their strolls as a actual wild leopard would do it. But maybe in a park which is crowded, the leopard might change its timing according to safari timings. So these are the few things which I would really like to bring it to notice. And again, there are parts where how would the question comes, how am I again crowding these places? So no, what we are doing is that we are not taking people to absolute core areas in these forests. We are not promising you any sightings, but here we are promising you that you would understand the I would say the language of nature. You would understand that how exactly forest ecosystem works, how the birds are still responsible for leopard survival. So these are the few things which I want to bring up in future and take people to such places and make them understand that why it is important to save these wildlife sanctuaries and not just go and have fun and click pictures there.
So it basically all boils down to cell signaling. We are basically mimicking the behavior of cells, and we have to understand at a deeper level
Right,
किसको
right,
क्या
right.
चाहिए.
Like I'm completely adapting that concept to amplify my message of saving wildlife. That how one cell sends signal across and other cells adapt to it and they start behaving that way. So yes, yes, that's absolutely correct.
One from
You
whatever you said, one
know,
question that I
Sharvil,
yeah.
talking so much about cells actually. So in a good way, I'm actually cell shocked.
You didn't even know
This is
that you could experience
But you know, I'm
cells
glad
and
at
what they
least
are doing right now.
the virus helped the tiger.
Correct,
So
correct.
that's a good
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You would go.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is going to be my next question, in the sense that it's a two-part question.
yeah.
What was COVID has had an immense negative impact on our lives as humans, as a society. We've experienced a lot of things which are negative in a sense.
Correct,
Loss
correct,
of jobs, economies
correct,
trickling down, and all those things. But at the same time, within the first month of the lockdown, the skies were clear.
correct,
The nature was kind of reclaiming the spaces that we had taken over.
correct.
So what was the positive impact of COVID, so to speak, on wildlife? At the same time, the other venture that you're doing, which is pod ventures, which is pet camping,
Correct.
how do the pets deal with being cooped up in a place, which is exactly the opposite of what it's supposed to be like? So how do people deal with that part of the story, and what was the impact of COVID on nature? Was it positive? Was it negative? If we have to retain that kind of impact, a positive impact on nature, what do we do? What do you think about that?
So about this, I have a opinion which is tending towards little negative comment because the first month of lockdown, I understand that it was a month where rivers were very clean, and as you said, skies were clear. But that is like the case where before the graph hits up, it goes down. Okay, that was the case for nature rather. I would say the nature has been hampered. Nature has been harmed a lot because of these situations. Because so I believe our whole lifestyle, we as humans, how we look at work, how we think of money, everything is now changing. Okay, now in that case, it is having a very negative impact on nature, I would say, because a lot of new non-biodegradable things are coming up, such as our mask. Now the mask. Now one more thing, which I was just having this random conversation with one of my colleagues, and he mentioned that many things are biodegradable, and still why do you are shouting about it? But see, nature also has its limitations. Okay, if there are biodegradable, if you would say that cotton or a paper, maybe it's biodegradable. Okay, fine. No, I won't say even cotton is, but even the paper. But if you are putting a lot of load onto it, then it also has its own limitations, right? Nature also, and if you're leaving no land for nature to degrade anything, where will it degrade things? So now definitely this is a
Decompose
very
things,
generic, yeah,
yes.
I understand this is a very generic comment, but what I want to tell you specifically is that with COVID it has happened that people, I would say, people have become more responsible towards understanding the nature. That is true. But indirectly or directly, our buying habits, our lifestyle which has changed, it is having an impact on nature. Now if you see, suddenly things are completely boosting out. So that boost or that boom which has happened after the COVID, that is having a bad impact on nature. Means initially we showed a very good picture to it. Okay, this is very nice, fishes must be very happy. Suddenly are mask aane lage, right? So yeah, it was like that. And so but definitely, but a very positive part here is that people have realized that they should be completely be responsible, and their responsibility does lie in this thought that they should be responsible towards nature also. Because if you look at it, let's not talk about any controversies or of it was a bio weapon or not, or so. Just consider, just hypothetically consider it was a very natural phenomenon. New virus came up. Now we do teach viruses also, and if it's so happening that we keep on completely hampering ecosystems, then these new viruses, they have to adapt. At that time, the bacteria and viruses, they are going to change their form because they want to survive. Basically, why is COVID affecting you? The virus wants to survive. Okay. So in that case, if we take care of simple things, I know when I say take care of nature, again it's a generic thing, but if we start taking of care of very simple lifestyle habits, that we keep focus on eco-friendly items, we keep focus on the things that such a simple thing as maybe walking to a place, not taking your car out, maybe picking up the garbage on the beach. Once you're just walking, you
No,
don't have to
Sharvil,
have
in
a
any which case, with petrol being at 110, no one's taking their car out.
yeah, that's correct.
The
That's
central
correct. That's
government is
correct.
really helping us there. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. It's that awkward moment when I'm, fueling up my car. I feel damn 113, but at the same time, I'm happy. Chalo, theek hai. I will at one point, I will also give up my car and move towards other options. So yeah,
इन्होंने
absolutely
कार
correct.
से हमें बेकार कर दी है.
Absolutely,
This was
absolutely. हो ही रहा है भाई.
Pranay, you ran out of your quota for
अच्छा,
puns
I'm
per
done with
video
my jokes.
for the
Continue,
next
man,
5 videos.
So sorry, that's correct. So I would say nature have had a negative impact, but people are somewhere, at least there are some, I would say, class of people, or there's some group of people who are realizing these things. They are going for such things. So it's great. I would really like to push them and help us. Now, about the pets, I would say there's this thing that people suddenly started adopting pets, okay, and at the same rate they're also abandoning their pets, that they realize that they cannot take care of it. So that is a bad part, but a very good part about, I can vouch for my community, people who are connected to Podventure family, that they realize that apart from their work, if they could have 2 hours to their pet, their life becomes very interesting. So you see most of our pet parents, they're all healthy. You would not see any pet parent who is crying about weight, because they walk their pets for 5 kilometers every day. Now
Every day.
you think about it, you are walking every day for 5 kilometers early in the morning or in the evening. That is definitely going to take care of your health also. And that is the case. The pet parents who are there are usually the young married couples who are going for even a child. They it's the case that I'm seeing that how they are introducing their child to a pet. Now, introducing a child to a pet is a very brilliant idea, because that child by default is, indulging this idea, or the seed of the taking care of an animal. And by default, the nature is being sown into that kid from the very young age. So that is happening. And now we, on our camps, we do take care of pets' mental health also. Now, when I talk about it, we take care that a pet is not very much shocked by a new place. So we gradually introduce that pet to a campsite. We have this 1 hour of buffering time where a dog can initially just relax, have fun, absorb the campsite, and then meet other dogs. So dogs do not go off leash and go all ballistic playing with each other. It is the people who handle dog. We give instructions. Our behaviorist would give instructions to people who are coming there. Now they come up with simple issues. Are kutta chappal kha gaya, but that's where they understand that that is the nature of that dog, how that dog would behave, right? So with COVID, it has happened that people have got time, laid back time, to think about it. Oh, I have got this pet and this is my responsibility, it is my kid. So in that case, how shall I go towards it? How shall I behave with it? Why do I actually require a behaviorist? It is like as good as denying your mental health problems and saying going to a shrink, or going to a
Counselor.
psychologist is just counselor is not advisable for some people. So it's like that. I'm not saying that you go and pay for the behaviorist session, but you have that thing in back of your mind. Okay, that is that animal is as intelligent as any human being, or maybe sometimes more. And their language, the how that person is behaving with the pet would definitely change your life. Because once your pet starts adapting to your lifestyle, once you start adapt to that pet's lifestyle, you become healthy. Your kids become responsible. you indulge the responsibility of, if you're planning on having kids, you indulge the whole responsibility of handling a whole different living being. And definitely having pet around is good for your relieving your work stress and lots of other things. So I would say my community has become, they were already anyway responsible, but coming onto our camps, they have realized the importance of taking your pet out for swimming, taking your pet out for long treks, long walks. So this has definitely helped us in helping us in positive way.
That's quite insightful.
Yeah.
If you know that all of us stay in Mumbai, we have, like you said, rightly so. Ever since COVID, we have started, our consumption patterns have changed. We have started to consume things, even though we want to be cautious toward the nature and be responsible and all of those things. Sometimes we are not left with a choice, in the sense that there are no substitute products which are eco-friendly for certain things. So for somebody who's staying in Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore or whichever place, and has a lifestyle, the kind of lifestyle that we live, where we consume a lot of things, and the impact of that is borne by the nature. Eventually, it will come back to bite us in the backside, but for the time being, it is being borne by the nature. If you were to tell five simple things to, for maybe Pranay and me, for example, that if we make these five simple
We
changes
won't
at
have time
our
for
level,
5. Give us 3 things and then give us a parting message. And you have exactly 2.5 minutes.
Okay, I would just get to it.
यार ये
Now,
तुम्हारे थर्ड वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लम से मैं क्या करूं? हाँ, तीन चीजें बता यार.
so simply, if अगर बोला जाए तो a very simple thing: do not throw garbage outside. You start using the alternatives for plastic, because plastic is bad for your health in turn also. And the third and very important thing, you start living a healthy lifestyle. When you start living a healthy lifestyle, at that time by default you realize you have to move towards the products which are more organic, more eco-friendly. You yourself would take out the products which are harming you. So I have started this thing. I have stopped eating biscuits, because those biscuits wrappers, they do not really have the recyclable value. So that started because I started being healthy, because I felt that no, I need to maintain myself to a certain level. So that anyway happened, that biscuits is all maida mein kyun khao. I go out, I would not eat usually the food which comes in plastic packages. That has definitely two things: that one, I'm avoiding the plastic; another thing, I'm being healthy. So throwing garbage out and avoiding plastic as much as you can, and you start healthy lifestyle, you would definitely move towards the organic way of life.
So
Thanks for
Sharvil, how
calling
was
us
your
fat
experience
indirectly.
being on the Rangman show, and a parting message for our viewers? I give you
I'll say
exactly
it was
1 minute 30 seconds to say that.
so
Yeah, advertising
Just,
होती नहीं है आपकी अब तक.
just end the show. Yeah.
तुम्हें कुछ बोलना है क्या उससे पहले ऐसा?
नहीं, कुछ नहीं. Just end the
Okay,
show.
okay. No, it was a brilliant, beautiful experience. I love it how you both are actually picking up people who do care about their respective fields, and how that is going to help us and nature in turn. And I love it how the vibe is here. It is very chilled out. Even if we were talking about the show, how when KU told me about it, the whole conversation since then, it's been fun. I believe that this in this whole journey I've made a new friend also, and it's fun. Yeah, it's great. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I would really pitch it out there to people that go for it. Do watch more of their shows. I have done that. They are fun, they are very insightful. Do subscribe to their channel, and
Thank you. Thanks,
yes,
Sharvil.
come on our
Thank
wildlife tours and help nature with us.
Thanks, Keo. Thanks, Sharvil. Until we come back with another Rangman show episode, guys. This is us.